February is one of the coldest months in New York City. While Central Park looks magical after a snowstorm, let's be real, you don't want to be out and about too much. It's true, February and January happen to be the coldest months of the year in New York City. Although I'm filming this video in mid-January and it's pretty mild compared to other winters. But cold is cold, so in this month's edition of Free Things to Do, we are gonna cover all the cheap ways to enjoy indoor entertainment from music to dance to comedy and theater. This is a little bit different than the others in the Free Things to Do series, so you might want to bookmark this video so you can reference it on a rainy day when you'd rather be indoors than out. With that, welcome to Urban Caffeine. My name is Thea and you're watching a channel that makes the most out of your life in the Big Apple. So subscribe so you won't miss future videos. Ballet performances, symphonies, and other performing arts can be expensive. Tickets can be over $100 depending on where you're seated, and not to mention the added fees. Prices can also depend on the popularity of the performer. But what if they're not famous yet? New York City has some of the best schools for performing arts. Well-known schools are Juilliard, the Manhattan School of Music, Mannes School of Music at the New School, NYU Steinhardt, and Columbia. And they all offer free performances by students, faculty, and guest artists, like these two who are up and coming hailing from Australia. While many performances are free, even the paid ones can be affordable. Do you happen to know a lot of useless knowledge? Like how many brains an octopus has, or who were the last 10 vice presidents of the United States? Then you might be interested in the NYC Trivia League. Because of the sheer size of New York City, there's practically a trivia night happening almost every single day of the week. You can register for one night or you can register for an entire season. The first prize is usually a $50 gift card from the bar that's hosting, and second prize is usually a round of drinks. It's free to play, but as a courtesy to the bar, it's kind of expected that you order a drink or two. I actually have a regular group of friends that I go to trivia nights with, and sometimes we win first prize. The trick with trivia is that you have to have a diverse group of people. You have to have your sports person, your music person. Music is a big one in trivia. There's an entire round that's just music. And you have to have someone who's really good with pop culture, politics and current events, and maybe general knowledge. So with your powers combined, you can make the ultimate trivia team. Broadway performances are a hallmark entertainment in New York City. If you're visiting and you have time, I recommend going to a Broadway. If you live here, I recommend going to a Broadway. It's a bit of a stretch why I'm listing Broadway as a free thing to do this month, but as it happens, from now until February 12th is Broadway week. And during Broadway week, tickets are 2 for the price of 1. So it's more like buy one, get one free. Broadway week happens twice a year. So if you live here and you miss this month's Broadway week, you can wait for the one in the fall. But there are many other ways to watch Broadway shows for cheap. There's 30 Under 35 where you can watch shows for $30 if you're under 35 years old. Then there's 20 at 20 where they sell tickets for $20 20 minutes before showtime. There are also same-day tickets at the tickets booth. There are also in-person and online lotteries, and I've actually experienced winning an in-person lottery before. Well, my friend did, and so by extension, I also won. We went to see Once on This Island. As for online lotteries, you might be thinking, do people really win this thing? Yes. A close friend of mine won $10 Hamilton tickets twice. So don't give your hopes up on winning lottery tickets. And also don't think you have to break the bank in watching Broadway performances. Take advantages of all the cheap ways to watch Broadway. Maybe you're a fan of John Oliver, Jimmy Fallon, or Seth Meyers. A free thing to do is watch a live taping. I have to admit, it is a lottery and you kind of need the element of luck to get a seat at these tapings. And you might be asking, what are the real chances of getting a seat? All I can say is it's not impossible. All I'm saying is that don't put live taping as your top priority. If you're lucky, it's a fun free thing to do. And if you're not into late night talk shows, you can also try to get seats to live tapings hosted by HBO and Netflix. And speaking of comedy shows, New York City is a city of comics. If you want a seasoned comic like Jerry Seinfeld, you're looking at spending a few $100s depending on where you sit in the theater. And you can't forget those fees. Comedy clubs in New York City are anywhere from $35 to $60-ish, $75-ish dollars, depending on the comic, the location, and if there's a drink minimum. $35 or $60 isn't so bad compared to the hundreds of dollars to watch someone like Jerry Seinfeld. And there are a lot of funny comics in these comedy clubs. But if you're not looking to spend much, there are free comedy shows that happen all over the city. But fair warning, free comedy shows can be a hit or miss. This is where a lot of aspiring and up-and-coming comics get their practice. And if there's a veteran comic in the mix, they might be trying something new that's not fully developed. But because it's free, I wouldn't be too critical. And lastly, one of the most common attractions in the Big Apple are museums. There are over 100 museums in New York. Entrances to museums average anywhere from $20 to $35 depending on the museum, and that can add up, especially if you're going with 2 people, 3 people, or 4 people. That's over $100 just to visit a museum. Plus, if you want to see a special exhibit, that might not be included in your general entry fee. But there are several ways to get around paying that general entry fee. One of them is that many museums offer free hours and free days. This is the most comprehensive list I can find of all the free days and free hours of New York City museums. Link is in the description. However, if you live in New York City, you should get a library card. Because with your library card, you can get a culture pass. And with a culture pass, you can get free admission to all these museums. And your pass is good for 2 people, so you can bring someone along. The whole time I lived in New York City, between the culture pass, free days and free hours, community days, special days, and maybe friends that have memberships, I have never paid full price on a museum visit. So if you live here, make sure you take advantage of all the perks of being a local. With that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's an indoor free thing to do that you want to share, comment below. Remember that I publish a free thing to do video on the last Saturday of every month, so make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you won't miss these videos. If you want extra content, I post weekly videos on Patreon where I talk about why I make certain videos, the challenges, and the enjoyable moments as a creator. Check out patreon.com/Urban Caffeine. Thank you to all current Patreon members. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and happy New Yorking.